The Hilltoppers have reached the halfway mark in their season. Tonight, they host Big 3 rival New Bedford at the Fieldhouse. Hello again, everybody. I'm Evan Massoud, joined by Lady Hilltoppers head coach Kelly Bullier this evening for the game. Great to have you, Kelly.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
First time for everything. We're getting you behind the camera this time, so should be a lot of fun. Last time we saw Durfee was 2 weeks ago against Quincy. It was a great match. They came back. They won it in 5, but they were down 2-1, so it was a comeback win for them. Now they're 5-5 with one Big 3 victory on the season, looking for some separation in the standings with New Bedford tonight.
I know, it's awesome. We haven't won a Big 3 outright in the history of Durfee volleyball for the boys season, so it's nice to have a banner for once if we can get that. We tied last year for the Big 3, and that was a great accomplishment, and I know that Coach Kelly is definitely looking forward to that Big 3 win, so hopefully they can pull that off.
They want it outright.
Oh, yes, they want it outright, definitely.
So one of the sparks for Durfee has been their senior setter, Cameron Branco. He's been really turning heads this year, and Coach Kelly estimates he has over 700 assists in 2 years starting. That's impressive.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Jeff DeDona, who graduated a couple years ago and reached 1,000. Branco's right up there against some really good setters that we've had, and he's doing a great job. He's come a long way since his freshman year. These past 2 years, he's put in a lot of work, and it's definitely shown. So.
Well, it's going to be a great match. We hope you'll stick around on Fred TV for all the action. We're serving up boys volleyball next. All right, we are just about ready to get things underway here at the Fieldhouse. Evan Massoud and Kelly Bullier with you for Big 3 boys volleyball. Durfee hosting New Bedford. First time Durfee's getting to see New Bedford on the season. They have that one Big 3 victory already against Brockton. That was very early on. But our first look at New Bedford. And, Kelly, I was talking to Coach Caturli before the game, and he says, they're 2-3. They've only played 5 matches at this point in the season. Durfee is already halfway done their schedule.
Right.
But they had to reschedule some games, he said, and so they're a little bit behind the 8 ball in terms of schedule, which doesn't give you as much game time, live action. Right. And so he said, for a young team, that can not always bode as well for the team because they're inexperienced to begin with, he said. It's a younger team. So they're kind of up and coming, kind of rebuilding a bit.
Right. New Bedford typically has a pretty strong program, has a good team. So I'm excited to see what they're coming with tonight.
Well, they start with the serve. Hilltopper sent it back very quickly, and now a block at the net. Played nicely by Giovanni Garcia, and it drops, though, in the New Bedford zone, unable to clear it over the net. So Durfee with the point to start things off. Interesting stat. Brendan told me before the game that when they start with their, where are my notes? Here we go. When they start with their full lineup like they are today, they're 4-0.
Yes.
And they're starting today with this, quote, full lineup, according to Coach Brendan Kelly. So he likes, I talked about it in the first match. He likes the superstitious stuff. He loves that stuff.
He is.
And very much so. And so any little number, anything that can play in their favor, he goes with it. So he's going with this, the 4-0 perfect lineup. He's going for 5-0 today and hopefully 2-0 in the Big 3.
I know, I hope so.
Garcia unloads. It's kept in by Durfee. Feliciano with the libero jersey keeps it in, gets it over on the third. Keys with the block. Durfee starts out 3-0. That was a hard-fought point right there.
Right, that dig by Cameron Branco there, his setting has been, we talked about that earlier, but his defense in the back row has really improved as well, and not just, putting that ball or getting that ball to his hitters.
Yeah, good all-around player. That sails out 4-0 Durfee. Branco and Joe Camara, senior captains for this Hilltopper team. And, it's a pretty good mix. You look up and down this lineup, and, there's a few seniors there. But when we say a few, there's 5. Then you look at the sophomores. There's 5 sophomores. And then you look at juniors. There's 4 juniors. So there's a really strong mix there. It's nice to have that veteran presence, but then that young blood that can learn and then kind of take over once the seniors graduate.
Definitely.
I know you as a coach, that's like a coach's dream right there.
Oh, it's fantastic to have those younger players that are ready to come up to varsity, as soon as our seniors start leaving, and the program just stays alive that way. So
And that's one of the things I was most impressed with your team in the fall. I mean, you guys had, what, 5 starting freshmen? That's unheard of.
Yeah, just about. We had a great group of freshmen that came in, very athletic, picked up the game really quickly. And
going down hard there was James Rebello. Everything he could to try to dig that one out, but fell short of the bid, so New Bedford keeps it. But, yeah, to your point, again, I mean, 5 freshmen on a varsity team is just not something you hear about normally, and they had a good season. You know, the sky's the limit for them.
They did, yeah. We have a lot of returners coming back, so it should be, you know, even better next year, hopefully.
Well, Durfee started 4-0. New Bedford on a quick 3-0 run, and Garcia serving, hopefully for him, in a position to try to pull back even. Feliciano with the dig. Camara with the spike that was denied. He's going to send it over. Nice finesse on the 3rd touch. Durfee resets. Keys at the net. Can't get it over. Good block again from the Whalers. Keys unloads on the defense. Garcia keeps it now. Camara sends it back over. Set by Marcel Souza into the official. It goes, and the Whalers win that one. What a wild sequence.
Great rally there. Great one. Danny Keys has been you know, great having seen him kind of progress through the seasons. He's really developed, and especially at the net with his defense blocking-wise, and even hits like that.
Yeah.
He's been definitely getting, you know, a good handle on the ball, and he's got a lot of power behind him, so it's nice to see.
To say he's a big presence up front is an understatement. And Keys, I'll be honest with you, when I looked at the roster, I actually thought Keys was a senior this year. He's only a junior.
Yeah,
so
he's
got another year under his belt coming up for 2019. So I was happy to see that. I you know, you do so many games, see so many players, and after a while, it just kind of all gels together. And sometimes I forget who's graduating when and who's a senior and who's not. It's so many players, you know.
I forget all the time.
So, but yeah, good. It's good news for Coach Brendan that Danny's only a junior, so he's got another year on the team. Same with Nillen. You know, Nillen's had a nice job. He came on last year playing volleyball. He never played it before.
Right.
And he's done well.
Yeah, with the boys, they pick it up quick.
Yeah.
It's definitely a sport that they get into and enjoy, and they really can pick up the skills quickly. And especially if they're basketball players, they tend to do a lot better as well.
So New Bedford with their first lead, so we have our first lead change of the match, and it is Edson Varela serving. Here's Branco with the set. Camara looking for a finish, gets blocked and denied it up front. Co-captain, number 12 there, Josh Pagan. One of 2 senior captains for the New Bedford Whalers. Pagan, one of them. The other, number 4, Clayton DeMello. I remember that name from I want to say football or soccer. Geez, fall seems like an eternity ago. It really does. But I do remember that name. On the serve for Durfee, that was Cardoso, a sophomore for Durfee. Good serve. That's out, sailing. Feliciano tracking the whole way, watching it go out of bounds. Cardoso had a nice game serving in that Quincy match. He had quite a bit of time behind the line there, kind of controlling the pace, and he had a good match. I do remember mentioning him quite a bit. He had a pretty good match there. Branco keeps it in play. Joe has to send it over. There's a set, unloads. Feliciano keeps it in with the assist from Rebello, but it sails out of bounds.
That was a good job there. Those are the best plays that, you know, you're not expecting.
Yeah.
They stick with it, and they do whatever they can, and makes it more exciting.
Well, and you know, too, I always forget, like, you know, the feet are in play. The feet count.
Yes,
and so, you know, you think, oh, it hit the ground. No, they miss it. No, the feet count, folks.
Right.
So if it stays off the ground, that's all that matters.
Exactly.
8-7 New Bedford as they jump back in front. Pagan will continue to serve. Good serve. Feliciano plays it. The set from Branco. Camara trying for a point. He finally gets one and beats that front line there. Jeremy DeCruz, number 8 up front, has been giving him fits, and he was able to finally get through, and now he'll serve.
Nice. Joe Camara's been doing a great job hitting in the front row. He's really been changing up his hitting and hitting down the line. in that Quincy game as well. Had some really good, strong hits right down the line, and he can get that, which a lot of players can't.
Yeah, and Joe, when you talk about height, he's not as tall as, say, a Keys or a Nera, but he's able to really climb that ladder. And maybe it is the basketball thing, the jump balls. He climbs the ladder and he's able to get a lot of downward motion, which is what you need to kill the ball. Just like that. Wow, there was that was DeCruz who gets the ball back for the Whalers. You notice the different jerseys. So for Durfee, the libero is in black, and that is Eddie Feliciano. And for New Bedford, they're wearing a gray jersey, and that is number 4. Co-captain, that's Clayton DeMello right there. So he's wearing the libero jersey for the Whalers. Plays that one. Setting up Garcia, and Garcia is going to get the point as we continue to change leaders here. 10-9 New Bedford.
I think this is going to be a close game all the way through.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, again, Coach Caturli, I thought, maybe being a little modest at first, saying, again, they haven't had as many games, so that kind of hurts you when you're trying to develop as a team. And, of course, Big 3 being super important, sometimes you can do too much. Right now, I think both sides playing clean volleyball.
Right, yes, definitely.
And that is out. Camara playing that line, but it sails just to the right. One thing that Coach Caturli stressed was got to stay positive, got to stay aggressive in a big game because you got to win 3.
Right.
So it's a long match. If you lose the first set, it's not the worst thing in the world.
Right.
I mean, again, Durfee proved that in the Quincy match. Another block, but it goes out. So Durfee's going to keep it as Nero went for the kill, but didn't touch it on the way back.
Nice. Yeah, winning those 3 games. I mean, going up, the first match and winning, and then, maybe losing one. It's definitely kind of shakes your momentum a little bit, and so it's difficult to get back from that. So being able to kind of get those 3 right away is always nice.
Well, of course. And, JV, though, we talk about that. JV did it the hard way. They lost the first set earlier. Yep. They came back, forced the third set. And they came back in the third set. That one was going long. Should not have played it, but they elected to. And they keep it alive. But, yeah, JV. Oh, Keys. Gives the Hilltoppers back the lead. So, but JV came back. They were trailing in the third set. And they still came back and they won it. So the Hilltoppers going for a sweep tonight. If they can win in varsity here, they'll make it a clean sweep. Nice deke there from DeCruz, but Garcia backing him up, couldn't get it over the net.
Right,
I like the set, though.
Yeah, New Bedford is, they always have a quick offense. They're, running short sets, so their hitters are coming in fast, and our blockers need to be up and ready to pick all those up.
That one drops in, makes it a 1-point set once again, so 13-12. And we're going to see DeMello on the serve for the first time. Keys, once again, nothing the defense can do with it.
When you get a good pass like that on your offense and a serve receive, it's easy for your setter to get a nice little set. You got a big hitter that can come up there nice and quick. It's the perfect play.
Here's Branco on the serve, so this is his first chance to serve tonight. Garcia blocked, sends it back over. Nera gets it to Branco. And a nice swing now from Cardoso. Hilltoppers open it back up to a 3-point lead. That's the largest since their opening 4-point run. Branco was instrumental too. We mentioned his setting, but he was a big part of that Quincy comeback because that 4th set, when Durfee was down 2-1, they started on a 7-0 run with him serving to start that set. And he started the 5th set as well with some great serves. So he really good all-around player.
Yeah, definitely. Being able to mix up your serve and keep your team keeping that good server on that back line is important. If you have someone that's really firing those serves off, then you got to keep them there for as long as you can.
Yeah, and, you know, during the girls' games, Brendan and I, because Brendan did some of those games while you were coaching, you know, we were talking, it's not just literally, you know, throw the ball up and send it over the net. There is a strategy.
Oh, totally.
You know, it's not, and I don't think most people realize that, because sometimes from this side perspective where we're filming from, you can't see going zone to zone. You know,
exactly.
But of course the players can. You don't get that perspective here going side to side. And honestly, volleyball probably be better shot, almost like a tennis match, really, with higher angled cameras.
Right, with a higher
we
angle.
don't have that option here in the field house.
Right.
But just like with tennis, you're shooting for certain areas, certain holes in the defense. You're not just lobbing it up there.
Right, yeah, you want to make that serve difficult depending on who you want to serve to on the court, or where you want to serve, you know, where their serve receive is set up, doing a nice little short serve, or maybe, you know, getting some power to it. New Bedford does a good job typically with some nice jump serves and nice jump floats, which are, you know, not much spin on the ball, just kind of coming over, and sometimes they kind of fall right when they get over the net or kind of dip, so they're difficult to serve. And if you can do that, if you're a player that can get a lot of different serves and have those tricks, then you're in a good spot there.
And, you know, it's funny you mentioned that, the floaters. I was just going to say that because, you know, I was going to reference Tim Wakefield from the Red Sox, former Sox pitcher, a knuckleballer, and that's what it makes me think of, is a knuckleball.
Totally, yep.
No spin, and it really, it dances.
Right.
And this, like a baseball with laces, volleyball has a lot of grooves and stuff. I mean, it can play tricks on you as a defense that's receiving.
Yeah, you'll hear Coach Kelly say that all the time. Get that ball dancing, he'll tell the boys, and, you know, have them back up as far as they can and serve over. And it does. It changes your perception on the other side. It changes the way the ball falls over the net. So it can make it really hard to get a good pass for that serve receive.
17-15, Durfee still ahead, but they coughed the ball back up there after an unforced error. I believe somebody touched one of the pads there. So that serve goes into the net from Garcia, so New Bedford gives it right back, and Durfee back up to a 3-point advantage. 18-15. And if memory serves right here over this short span, Durfee has never trailed by more than 1 point in this first set. So it's been a good first set. Branco with the set here for Camara. They get it back to DeMello. Now the set on the near side here for Pagan, and he makes it count. Off of two Hilltoppers, unable to do anything with it. New Bedford gets it back with the 2-point deficit. And serving here, this is Edson Varela, number 15. Camara looking for another spike. That goes long. There is a whistle and another violation on New Bedford. Same thing we just saw for Durfee.
Right.
And we'll see Cardoso now. Everybody making the rotation. Everybody getting their second chances now to serve in the match. Going back to Mason Matias. And that's going back. Feliciano keeps it up, but that's the third touch. Could not get it over. That one of the rare, not too great sets from Branco. Kind of floated over the net, and Joe could not get a set.
Those are tough. Those are tough sets to handle when they're going over the net like that.
Twice now, the Whalers, 2 times in their last 3 possessions, serving it into the net on the first try. So it gives Durfee the chance to come right back and control. And we'll see Joe Camara serve for the second time. 20-17 is the score. Durfee ahead by 3. Good serve there. A lot of downward motion there.
Nice jump serve there. Joe's really been working on his jump serve. He has a lot of power to it. Got a nice snap up at the top. He does a really good job with it.
4-point lead now. Largest lead of the set for either side. Another good serve. Third touch sent over. Branco setting up Nara.
That's a great set there for him. A great set.
It sure was, and now a little skimming over the defense. 5-point Durfee lead, and the timeout called by Coach Caturli. The 5-point lead, the largest of this first set. So not too shabby. Good time to start kind of pouring on when you get later in the set there. You're not dying. You're still forging ahead.
Right, right. This has been a good match so far, and both teams are going back and forth. A little bit of serving trouble for New Bedford, but their defense has been great, and they've had, some good hits to the net, and they're putting the ball away. So
yeah, I wouldn't say that this has been necessarily a one-sided affair. I think both sides playing actually really good. This has been a pretty balanced first set. Again, Durfee just couple less mistakes, I guess you could say, but nothing major, nothing that makes you question like what are they doing?
Right. Yeah, no,
it's been good.
They're working hard, both sides, and making the plays when they need to. So.
And let me just say, weather-wise, I know we had some rain midweek here, but we finally turned the corner. We're getting some milder weather. 2 days of 70 degrees, and the gym is up to like 80 degrees. So these guys, it's hot in here for these guys. It's not even that bad. But
it gets muggy. Oh, yeah.
I wonder if with the renovations, when we get the new school, if AC is going to be included in that. A nice little AC package.
We can only hope so. We can only hope so.
Man, that would be nice. I'll tell you. It would be nice.
It'll probably get to about 82 degrees in my office typically.
Yeah, that's bad. That's rough.
It gets hot up there.
It's rough. I remember my my graduation. That was 07. And I mean, it was hot, and the gym is packed. And
you were inside.
Oh, yeah, we were the first to have it inside because they were building the new stadium.
Rough.
So we couldn't do it, and then the decision afterwards was, well, we're not putting chairs out on the turf. There's half the amount of seating, so we can't do it outside anymore. So now they do it inside, which it eliminates the weather variant.
I was lucky to be outside.
Yeah, I would have rather been outside too. But, again, on the plus side, it eliminates the weather variant. Because it's especially from like our standpoint, broadcasting live. If you have torrential rain, it's not pretty,
No.
with all that electronic equipment. So, and it's not fun for anybody sitting out there.
I wouldn't think so.
No, but in here, it was so hot that there were actually, I think, maybe 2 people that ended up having to get taken out because of dehydration, like they were going to pass out.
Sure,
Yeah, it was bad. So just that alone, never mind the events that go on here, just to get rid of that humidity, you need something to dry up the air. It doesn't need to be an ice box, but just something to make it a little more comfortable.
Right.
This is a set point for Durfee. Dug out nicely, still in play. It's going to get over. How about that? And they're going to get the point out of it. The Hilltoppers take the first set by 7 points, 25-18. Really pulled away in the latter half.
Nice job on that one, yeah. Keeping with those plays and knowing the ball doesn't hit the floor, then you're still playing that ball. I tell my girls all the time, you play to the whistle. Wait until you hear that whistle. You do everything you can to get that ball over the net at that point.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that holds true with basically every sport. It's like football, basketball, same thing. You play to that whistle because you don't want to be caught being the one that just stopped.
Right.
Never wanted that. So 25-18, Durfee takes the first set, and they're up 1-0 in this best-of-3 varsity match. Set number 2 about to start, and it's Cameron Branco who will get us started for the Hilltoppers after they take that first set, 25-18. Evan Massoud and Kelly Bullier with you on Fred TV. It's Big 3 boys volleyball. And the Whalers start off ahead here in the first set. So Durfee started ahead in the first, and now, I'll correct myself, not the first. The Whalers start off ahead here, get the first point of the second set. So, again, we think superstition. Maybe Coach Kachurli's thinking, well, we got the first point, we'll win this set. Anything that's positive thinking, right?
You never know. Coach Kelly would be thinking something like that.
Yeah, he'd be like, oh, darn, we're going to lose this set now. So
I've known him for many years, and
yeah.
He definitely has the superstition is strong in him.
Yeah. I wonder if he watched the Bruins Game 7 last
I'm
night.
sure he did.
And, you know, I mean, we talk superstition. My uncle used to be so bad. If he was sitting in a certain position when he was younger and watching the game and they scored, or the Pats scored a touchdown or something, he'd sit that way the whole rest of the game. He wouldn't move because he thinks that his position, his body position, sitting watching a game has an effect on the outcome. But you know, it's fun. It's fun. That's part of the fun of sports.
It's always little things.
It's a healthy superstition.
Coach Kelly's thing is on the ball cart, the lock on the ball cart. He'll change the number when we're done at the end of the day. Make sure all the numbers are on a certain number.
Really?
Recheck. Yeah, it's just his thing.
Interesting. That should be in. That was borderline. They're giving it to Durfee. That was very close. Coach Kachurli not arguing. He's right at the line, so it must have been right on that line.
You know, that's a difficult call to make. Sometimes, I mean, as a coach, I want to always make that call, you know, and I get angry with the ref sometimes. But being up on that ref stand and looking at that line, and especially in the boys' season, they hit that ball hard, and it goes fast. And sometimes you're making a judgment call. It's a difficult angle sometimes, and it's tough
the ball's
to see.
going away from you, so it's really a blind line.
Right.
When we talk about superstition, one of my former teachers who is sadly since passed, Mrs. Moretti, she was head of the teacher academy here. I had her my sophomore year. I had her here, and that was when the Sox won the World Series in '04.
Nice.
And she told me, she says, "Don't you worry, because we're down 0-3 to the Yankees, right? You know, all hell's breaking loose basically in Boston. Everybody doesn't know what's happening, and she said they're going to win because they're going to win the World Series." She says they're going to make history, and she said, and they're going to play St. Louis. St. Louis is going to the World Series, and Boston's going to the World Series, and it's all because of the rule of threes, because they've played each other twice, and Boston's lost both times in history, 46 and in 67. She said they're gonna meet in the World Series, and Boston's gonna win it, and they're gonna reverse. They're gonna reverse the curse. I know, and they did. They did.
That's
I mean,
cool.
obviously, easier said than done. And that's the healthy superstition. But we were talking about that for the last few months of the semester, let me tell you.
Right.
Because it was a heck of a prediction. Kamara with the spike. And actually, I don't know if
also a net call. I think they're on New Bedford.
Yeah, I think that actually might have been before the spike even. So I don't know if Joe would get credited with the kill. I think it might actually be the violation on the Whalers. Gets Durfee back within one. They're down 5-4 in set 2 early on here. Cardoso, that's off the defense. That is a tip and out of bounds. And the Hilltoppers draw even, 5-5. And this is a big match for the Hilltoppers. 5-5 on the season here. And they want to turn the corner, get back above 500. And, one thing that Brendan said was midway volleyball is totally different from early volleyball.
Right.
He says, and now once you get to that midway point, it's time to kick it into another gear.
Oh, yeah.
And it is. It's amazing how quick the volleyball season really is.
Oh, it goes by so fast. You're playing typically almost 3 games a week, 2 to 3, and it flies by. And especially when you're kind of back-to-back sometimes with games.
Yeah, and I mean, you never have weather to contend with. You're indoors.
Right.
You're not dealing with snow. You're not dealing with the rain doesn't matter, but you're not dealing with snow where it's a driving hazard. I mean, it's really you guys play no matter what.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice dig, kept in and over by
nice
Feliciano.
job by Eddie.
And now a whistle. Durfee with the point. That's a heck of an effort on the other side. That was Rebello and Feliciano again. Both of them going down to the ground, just flailing at the ball to keep it in play.
I mean, you can tell this is a big 3 match. They're going to play hard for every point. They're going to go after every ball, and they're not going to let anything hit that floor. So great job by them there.
Cardoso with the serve. Pagan plays it, lifted by Ethan DeMello. Clayton DeMello plays that, sent over by Matias. That stays in, no, going over the bench. Good effort there, though, on the far side by Pagan, trying to keep it in. Hilltoppers will keep possession. They go up by 1.
New Bedford's definitely playing scrappy as well in their defense, trying to, make those passes. Their libero's a great player. Remember him from last year, and a really good passer.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I mean, you can say inexperienced, sure, or a younger team, but New Bedford's not playing bad volleyball at all.
No.
This has been a solid, say, set and a half.
Right. They're not as big, as tall as their typical New Bedford teams that I recall, but I mean they're making plays work, and sometimes you got to you use what you have. If you're a shorter team, I've definitely had that with my girls season, and we've had some not much height, but we kind of dominate on the defensive side. So you make those points where you can.
Coach Couturley calling timeout after Joe Camaro just unleashed a vicious spike there right along that far line to make it 9-6 in favor of Durfee. Looking at the roster for New Bedford, we say they're a young team, but I think it's young in terms of experience because really, for the most part, it's juniors and seniors. There's quite a few seniors on this team. Only one sophomore, and that's Ethan DeMello, their number 7, who was just in that last rotation. So they're actually an older team by age, but maybe not so much by experience,
Exactly. And it's tough to do with, we're always trying to get our players to play more, to play in the off season and pick up leagues or even camps and things like that. So it's difficult for some of them to touch a volleyball all the time. Basketball is so easy, to do something in the off season, and it's not as prevalent in volleyball that you have, travel teams and things like that. So.
Well, you almost need some help. Like basketball, you really could just go and stop playing the boards yourself and just work on your individual stuff. With volleyball, it's kind of hard. You need somebody else to set you up. Floater, too long. And the Hilltoppers give it back to the Whalers. Well, it's been a pretty good school year here. I think the highlight being that very rare defensive Thanksgiving Day game with the Hilltoppers won it 8-6 in football, but it's been a pretty net violation there. It's been a good school year so far. Obviously, far from done. I think if anybody were to say if you pick maybe the biggest disappointment is, I'd say just because of the stature of it, is the boys basketball team not making the tournament this year was definitely a tough pill to swallow for everybody. The team, the players, Coach Guimond, they all want a nice job there on that kill by the Crews. I mean, we're all pulling for them. It came down to the last game of the year, and unfortunately they had the unpleasant task of going up against Attleboro. We always seem to close against Attleboro, and they have our number for sure. They were a tough team. But, the boys will be back next year. There's a little floater for you. Little knuckleball serve. Nillen, soft touch. That's still in play. One heck of a job by the D, and it falls in. Whalers with a chance to pull even here. 10-9 Durfee. The baseball team, talent-wise, they a lot of the guys back from last year, and they had a great run in the playoffs.
Right.
They didn't lose too many guys, which is good. So I'm looking forward to our first baseball game, which I'll be honest, folks at home, we had one on the schedule this week, but got postponed due to the rain. Just a lot of rain middle of the week here, and Skip Lewis Field does not like the rain. That's for darn sure. So don't worry, we'll have some baseball and some softball in the coming weeks. The Hilltoppers, actually, baseball-wise, started on the road with 8 straight games. This was supposed to be their first home game. Then they were going back on the road for another 2, and then they were finishing the season at home with 9 straight games, just like they did last year. So part of it's been weather. Part of it has just been the fact that they're not around yet. So we'll be seeing the baseball team for sure, and I would fully expect once they get rolling, I think they'll get in the tournament this year again, just like last year. Coach, I was talking to Coach Elmschneider while JV was playing, because the boys were in here taking swings in the cage because they can't outside.
Yep.
And Coach Dave told me, he says, we got to play 15 games in 29 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm glad I don't coach in the spring, in the outside, because it's crazy that this weather's just been nuts, and the rain comes, and we see it at practice, and we all get crammed in here for practice after school. Baseball, tennis, everybody's in here, so we feel it that way. But man, it's rough.
It's tough because from a playing and even for us, with a coverage standpoint for TV, when it rains in the fall, we can still shoot from inside the press box. We can still work, and they're still going to play. Football and soccer will play in the rain, as long as it's in field hockey, as long as it's not lightning and thunder or torrential to the point where you can't even see what you're doing. They will play. With baseball and softball, you really can't. I mean, if you get any kind of steady rain, that's it. You're done.
Yeah, the fields are a mess at that point.
Yeah, and we know it takes an abuse. So Hilltoppers 15-10 here after that last point. So a 5-point Durfee lead coming into another New Bedford timeout. But, yeah, I mean, it's going to take a lot of coordinating with the starting pitchers for Durfee as well. I mean, they got Tommy Lambert back. He had a great year last year. And this year, senior pitcher with Zach Souza behind the plate, senior catcher, one of our Fred TV kids. So just right there, that Tommy's your ace. And they got Lucas Souza, too. Lucas, he's back. Bunch of guys back. Trying to think too. A David Montero. We got. This is going to be a good baseball team. And furthermore, I'm really looking forward to Legion Ball. I don't know if I'm spilling the beans early, but our assistant coach here, our JV coach Jay Martin, is going to be the American Legion coach this year for Post 464 with the senior team, and. So you'll have mostly these Durfee kids here that just came off of a spring season with the high school, going into Legion, and then you get some of the college kids back, like J.P. McDonald. We expect him to play. So we should have a really good Legion team this year, too.
Awesome.
I'm really looking forward to that as well once June hits after the playoffs.
Nice.
Again, we're assuming be in. That's in, and that's a Durfee point. 16-10, the Hilltoppers starting to pull away a little bit here in the second set.
Who was that? Number 10, right? Nicholas Cardozo. He's actually new this year, new to the school, and played a little bit of volleyball in Brazil, I believe, and then came here and was a great addition to the team.
And that's still in. Branco with the save. We're not even calling that a dig. We're calling that a save. That's ridiculous.
Nice
Off the fingertips.
there, yep.
Really? I don't think anybody thought it was still in, but again, you play until you hear a whistle, and Durfee did that, and that's credit to the Hilltoppers for not stopping. They get their 7th point. It's 17-10.
As you was saying before with playing off your feet, same thing. You call it a pancake. You put your hand down. If that ball hits off your hand, hits off your arm or even the top of your head, that ball is still in play if you can get that ball up. So that's a great job to keep that alive.
Yeah, that was awesome. The Hilltoppers do give it back here, so it's going to be 17-11 with here is the lone sophomore on the Whalers team. This is Ethan DeMello getting a serve. That's a good serve. Bounces right back. Hilltoppers can't set it. Feliciano to Branco, far side. Keys with the kill. Nobody in that spot. No one was getting there either.
Danny's big up there. I mean, especially with those quick sets. He's right on top of the ball, and there's really no stopping him, you know, at that point when he's hitting that ball pretty much straight down. And if there's no block there to kind of slow that ball up, it's really tough for your defense to get under that and pick that ball up.
Yeah, and I would imagine the quick sets, you know, make it more difficult for the defenders at the line, at the front line there to get set as well on a block, timing-wise.
Oh, definitely.
That is going to drop in no man's land. And, you know, too, aside from Pagan being right up front, one of the captains, that's a little bit smaller of a front line defensively.
Right.
But as we're going to see now Deshaun Shields come in for the first time. But then they also have up front there number 3, Marcel Souza. So not the biggest front line, not like when they had DeCruz up front and Garcia. So now you pair that up with Keys, and you kind of like give them no chance, you know?
Right.
Far side, Pagan swings and misses, and it's a 20-11 Durfee lead. They're pouring it on and pulling away. Trying to go up to a commanding 2-0 lead in this best-of-3 match. Rebello with the serve. Souza with the set. Climbing the ladder was Matias, but not enough downward motion on it. Sails out of play. Durfee up by 10. That's the largest lead of the match for either side.
Right.
And Rebello is just going to keep sitting back there and serve. Try to serve it out if the Hilltoppers keep possession here and keep control of their destiny. Blocked. Matias sends it back. It falls in bounds. Talk about angles. That's a tough angle for us because I could not tell if that went over the net or if it was on our side of the bar.
Right.
Of the pole.
Yeah, and being on the opposite side of the antenna or outside the antenna would be out of bounds. And sometimes they just sneak it past there. And depending on where you are there, it's tough to see.
I know, and you know, you forget there's a space between the official and the antenna because the posts need to be clear of the net itself.
Right.
So the posts themselves are actually outside the field of play, which again, I don't know. It's, you know, with our camera angle, we're not that high, so sometimes it's hard to see that. You know, but that it definitely can create a little bit of an illusion.
Yeah, we'll get a lot of people that are like, oh, you know, what's that call? Why is it out of bounds? It went over the net, but if it sneaks past that antenna, then it's going out.
Well, the Whalers sold the official on the tip there. It certainly sailed out of play, but they're saying it was tipped, and the Whalers with a quick little 3-0 run here after getting the ball back. 21-14 now. Rebello plays it. Branco to the far side. Camara sends it over on the third. Feliciano backing up on it. Branco going to be able to set up Camara, who unloads on the D.
Nice.
That was a good set
going
from
down
Branco.
that line.
Yeah, and that was a great set from Branco because he was falling back towards us, and he really directed it more. It wasn't just a floater. Directed it towards Joe. We saw Joe breaking. Good communication, good read on what's happening. Keys on the serve. And that's going to fall. 23-14.
Danny Keys here, number 20, coming out with some great serves. He plays some great defense in the back row. For such a tall player, being in the back row and playing some defense, he's really doing well with his passing. And he's definitely, you know, brought a lot to the defense when he has to come right back in after his serve.
I would imagine that you reference his height as the ball's falling towards that back line. It must be harder being taller, right? Because you got to really get down and dig it out.
You really got to get under that ball. Sometimes you're thinking it's still in play.
Yeah.
If it's sailing over your head, it's probably going out of bounds. But for a lot of times, you know, you're going to think it's in. This is a great pass there.
It was. And this is a set point for Durfee, but they're going to lose it, and they lose possession. So the Whalers keep it alive. 24-15. The Hilltoppers were trying to close it out with the service game. Could not do so. And it gives the Whalers second life. Josh Pagan on the serve. Rubello, I think it came up and kind of hit him in the chin a little bit there. His head jerked back like it might have graced maybe the nose or something. Out of play. Hilltoppers will take the second set in convincing fashion, a 10-point win, 25-15. Durfee up 2-0. Looking for a sweep. Just about ready for the third set to commence. Evan Massoud and Kelly Bullier with you here on Fred TV as the Durfee Hilltoppers in command of this match right now against their arch nemesis, the New Bedford Whalers. A 2-0 advantage in the best-of-3 set, a best-of-3 match, I should say. And starting this third set is Marcel Souza on the serve. And a nice start for Durfee. That was a good swing by Keys. Whalers have to send it back. They're going to set up Keys again. No, they go to Cardoso for the spike and the opening point. And we were just talking in the break here about superstition, right? Again, it just seems to come up.
It does.
And with Coach Kelly. And we were talking about, right, how if New Bedford does not come back and Durfee holds them off, you will have to broadcast with me for the Brockton game
I will.
and potentially any playoff game down the road if it's home.
I'm sure.
You know that, right?
I know. It's funny. It'll happen though. It'll happen. It'll be wear that same outfit and
Yeah.
and be on the mic. He'll definitely tell me that.
Yeah, he'll be like, yeah. What were you wearing for that game, Ev? Huh? I had,
He'll have
the
the
polo
same
and
outfit on too. He'll have
the
the
black
same
shorts.
sneakers.
And he'll be like, yeah, Ev, you gotta wear that. You gotta wear that for us, Ev. This, and you gotta be there early. We're talking at the same time, And Kelly's gotta be involved.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to keep it that way. He does the same thing with basketball. Have you noticed his sweater vest in basketball?
Oh, I know.
And
because
so
he makes me wear my Columbia vest, and if I don't, it's a problem.
Right. And
so
he
determines
wears
my
ones.
attire.
I'll tell you, yeah. The kids bought him a sweater vest one year.
Oh, that's cool.
That was
that's cool.
gift.
He must have loved that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all right. We're goofing on him. He's not here to defend himself, but
It's
it's all fun. It's all fun.
I've known him now for 15 plus years.
Yeah.
So I think we can do that.
No, and it's the same thing with me here, too. I mean, I'm superstitious to an extent as well. And I'll tell you a good one, too. My dad has what we call the lucky shirt. And it's this like, old polo that he's had forever. He doesn't wear it. It's just there.
It's just there.
But, hey, our first ace, Keys,
right? Yeah.
courtesy of Keys.
Nice serve
there you go. But, like, I'm not even kidding you. This goes back to, like, 04. Okay? The shirt has 0 losses in big playoff games. It's sick. I don't even understand. I can't tell Brendan about that.
Do not.
Because he'll be like, can your dad wear that shirt against, for the Brockton game or something? Have him
can
come.
Can your dad come to the game in that?
Can he come to the game in that shirt? But just, if he doesn't want to show it, just have it like an undershirt. Have it under something else. I'm serious.
Wear it like a cape. Just have it around his shoulders or something.
I'm serious. I'm not even kidding. It's amazing. It's a good luxury. We joke about it, and all I'm saying is that the last big game that it was worn was when the Pats came back against Atlanta for the 5th Super Bowl. I'm not even kidding you. He was already in bed when I got back home. Because I went to one of my friend's house. He left it on the chair, so I knew he wore it. It's the funniest thing.
I think everybody's got a little bit of that in them, and
oh yeah, because it's just it's just for fun. We'll see if it works this time.
Right,
you know what I mean? Exactly. So, hey, Durfee up 4-3. They just came back. It was tied 3-3. So now 4-3, and we'll see Cardozo serve. It's been a good match for the Hilltoppers. If you're just tuning in, I should say. Durfee has really played very well, solid, very few mistakes. And to be honest with you, with the exception of, say, the last maybe 10 minutes of that second set, New Bedford played pretty much mistake-free too. There was a lot of breakdown in communication, I thought, towards the end of that second set. But it was also a different rotation of players. We're seeing Coach Caturli throw in, I think, some of his maybe non-starters because there's some players out there now that really hadn't played much of that first set or the beginning of the second set. So, maybe trying to see what he's got. Again, they got a long season ahead. This is only their 6th game, their 6th match. For Durfee, it's their 11th. They're already past the halfway mark. So Coach Caturli still has to kind of figure out, too, what he has to work with. They haven't had that many, live opportunities, in-game opportunities.
Yeah, sometimes with volleyball, too, you got to change up your lineups a little bit, see what works.
That worked.
Yes, that definitely worked. Seeing which players work well on the sides of others, just having kind of that good flow out on the court is definitely important. And just one little change can make a big difference.
Yeah, and to that point, we saw, again, for hockey, the Stanley Cup playoffs is just like nothing like it. And the Coach Cassidy for the Bruins has changed up a couple of the lines and really mixed in, rookies and the veterans, and it's worked. It's worked. To be honest, the Tampa Bay series, the Lightning coming up here, this makes me very nervous because the way the Bruins were playing at the end of the regular season, you think it's going to take a lot to stop them. And Toronto exposed a lot of flaws. The Bees have a lot to work on in this before this Lightning series because Tampa Bay is a scary team. They really are. And the Bruins do not have home ice because they finished second to Tampa. So they have to start on the road in this one. So it's going to be a tall task for the Bees. We talk a little bit of pro sports. Keys with the reach. I think that was more than 45 degrees to the ground. That was insane.
Nice.
That was like straight down. Another good one.
Coach Kelly likes to call those happy birthdays when you have the overpass like that. And you can
Never heard that.
Yeah, and you can just come up and hit. You're not having to set up an offense. You just get to swing away at the net there, and that's his favorite line, the happy birthdays. And
that's
Danny
different.
does those well.
Yeah, he does. And like I said, I've never heard that. He never said that during the broadcast
no,
in the fall. Wow. No, so that's the first I'm hearing of that. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I've never heard that one. That's a good one. I like that. So the Durfee Hilltoppers had that one fall in the Bermuda Triangle, if you will. But now they have to go back to work That one went sky high. Trying to keep it in. It's not going to make it over.
No.
One thing to take note as we talk about ground rules, these rafters are in play here at Durfee. I don't think, are the basketball nets too, though?
Yeah, the
They
basketball
are. Okay,
hoops
so
are
everything
as well.
is.
Yep. If the ball is traveling, towards the hoop. If you're under that hoop and as it rolls off, you can keep that ball in play. Then it's definitely playable. We have the curtain here that's in the center of the court.
Yep.
And when you're actually looking, directly under it, it's actually on one side of the court and not the other. So depending on what side you're on, if the ball were to hit the curtain and fall back on your side, on one side it would be playable. On the other side, it would not, because you'd be crossing the plane of the net and then coming back over, so it would actually be out of bounds.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. That's a tough one for some, for some of the schools that are coming in if they don't realize that, or even, fans that are watching. Don't understand why all of a sudden the ball's out of bounds because of that.
Yeah, and looking at the way it's set up now, it makes sense why it's like that. Is because the lighting track is actually dead center.
Exactly.
So you can't put the screen where the lights are.
Right, yeah.
So it's just over to one side. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so basically though, everything in play here in the field house. So it makes for interesting play when you get one that goes real high into the air.
We often throw a volleyball up there during practice just
to see.
Let it bounce around and play off of it. I've kind of gotten that a little bit from our fellow Barnstable coach, Tom, over at Barnstable. He goes into a gym and he'll check it out and start throwing some balls up there to see if either his boys team or the girls team can work with that and know what to do with it. It's definitely for us kind of an advantage because we're used to it, and maybe some other schools that don't have that, don't really know how to follow that ball as well.
No, never a bad thing. Again, it's about being prepared, doing your homework.
Yep.
And in your home gym, absolutely, you got to be prepared for everything. And in fact, another little obstacle I'm noticing actually is that there's one of the side basketball nets are actually down right now. I didn't even notice that until just now when we're checking everything out. That one must have forgot to put it up after gym this afternoon.
Right.
Keys still in play. Nice job by the Whalers deep. Pagan was there. DeMello was there. That one's going to sail long. And the Whalers get the point, and they earn that one right there from a defensive standpoint.
Right, nice job on that.
On the serve will be Marcel Souza. Branco setting up Keys. Oh, he faked them out. And the Hilltopper's going to get it.
And the net on that as well.
Yep. Faked out the power swing and just lobbed it over. And nobody was expecting that.
No,
myself
not at
included.
all. Right, after seeing Danny, swing on a lot of balls and have some really hard hits, it's nice to kind of change it up once in a while. If you see that hole on the floor, as we call it, and see an open spot and putting the ball down where it needs to be it's going to get you that point. Doesn't always have to be the prettiest thing.
No, of course. A point is a point. That's it. A point is a point, and the Whalers get one there. The Hilltoppers can't block it. It snuck down between Keys and the net. So quick service game there for Rebello, and it goes to DeMello for the Whalers. Oh, no, we're actually going to see Nelson Roman going to serve now. DeMello was just fetching it. So Roman will serve. Right to Kamara. Branco lofts it up. And Kamara sends it over on the third touch, trying to set up that far side. Another missed block. As that falls in, Matias will get credited with that. And the Whalers keep possession. So two missed blocks right there, or botched blocks, if you will, from Keys up front.
Right, Danny trying to reach for that ball, seeing it off to the side there, and just that's a tough play.
And that one sailed out, so now Keys will serve. (13-9) here in the third set. Hilltoppers up 2-0, needing 3 set wins. for the match. Camara, nice job by Pagan there to block it, kind of swat at it and break it up. And going to go back and set up Cardoso. Goes right to Souza. Now DeMello with the set to Matias. And it's still in play, and a whistle comes. It's going to be Durfee with the point. Back up to a 5-point game.
All right, both teams are working hard here and defensively and just, being scrappy, trying to pick everything up and keep that ball alive.
That one going into another time zone.
A little short there on the set from New Bedford. And, looking at, we talked about Cam being, such a good setter. New Bedford said this. He has great hands, is putting the ball, up for his hitters there, and he's doing a really good job.
Keys will continue to serve with his team up by 6 points. It's a set high. Pagan off the defender. That is Whalers' point. Nice job right there. Got the tip. So 15-10. A lot of subs right now for Coach Katurli, really moving things around. Hilltoppers pretty much standing pat, not too many substitutions. As we're going to see now, this is number 9. This is Alex DeGracia, and that falls in for an ace. Whalers'
little
first
lack
ace.
Of communication there with with the Hilltoppers.
Yeah, just a little flyby. And it dropped right in front of the line, so good for the point. And again, that's about, strategizing where you want to put the ball to on the service game. And that bounces back. Hilltoppers, I'm sensing a timeout if this draws even here, because some little miscues here that not looking as sharp over this maybe 5 or 6 point stretch. Feliciano can't return it. Now a 2-point match. We were at 6. It's now 15-13.
Right, communication is so key in volleyball, and who's getting that ball, and if you're not talking to your teammates, it can really, you can really suffer there, and it shows.
Camara got the set and unable to do anything with it was DeGracia. I was just going to say maybe it's because Brendan was kneeling. He wasn't kneeling the whole time. And he's been standing.
Like, Brendan, get up. Don't kneel.
Stand up. You're costing us points.
Just a little loss of momentum there. That was it. And they needed to just kind of get that side out and get back the serve. Durfee's been doing a great job serving. They haven't missed many serves at all today.
Yeah. And a whistle.
We have, Joe Camara in the net on that call.
A tough call there. The whistle didn't come immediately that time,
right.
So I think everybody thought it was still in play, which is why Joe was hustling our way. And the Hilltoppers get the ball back.
Yeah, some of those net calls are tough. I mean, just that last one on New Bedford here, an obvious net. But sometimes when you're going up for that block and you barely graze it, and no one, the net doesn't move too much. But with the ref being right there, in the line of the net and the sight of it, they can see it so much better than what we can.
Oh, absolutely. And they do. They have the best vantage point. That's why they're up on the. That's why they're up on the ladder
stand,
there. It's not really. It's not just so that they're high up. It's really for. It's really for the net.
Right. Yep. To see right down that net, they can see. They can see everything.
So that makes it 17-15 after the serve went out of play. Nera back in. Nice play there by DeCruz on the kill, I should say. Going to set it up now for Nera again.
Oh,
Dug out.
Nice one.
DeMello keeps it going, sends it back over. And trying to catch him napping was Branco. It's coming back. No, off the lights. It's still on New Bedford's side, and they can't do anything with it. That was kind of wacky right there.
I was expecting, a Hilltopper to go up there and put their hands up to block that just in case, but I got a little nervous. They kind of maybe saw what we didn't see coming from this side of, that wasn't coming over.
It's going to give Eddie Feliciano the ball back. He'll get to serve now with his team up 3 points here in the third set, looking for a sweep of the Whalers. It would give Durfee a 2 an O record in the Big Three, which is, you know, pretty much commanding when that's half your games and you've won them.
Yeah.
You know, so. And having the win against Brockton under your belt already, that's huge because they did that.
Right,
they did that on the road, right?
Yes, that was at Brockton. Yep.
That's major right there. That's big time win to open the season.
And that was a 3-game sweep of Brockton. So
yeah,
I'm sure
big
Coach
time
Kelly will
win.
be feeling pretty good after this.
For sure, if the Hilltoppers can hang on, again a commanding 2-0 lead, and up by 2 points here in this third set. And we'll see Clayton DeMello serving. Camara plays it. Branco, quick set. Keys, quick swat at it. And it's going to be Durfee with the point. Another net violation. And while we're resetting here, let's just take a quick look at the road ahead. So Durfee home right now against New Bedford. Then they're heading to Quincy on Monday. And then next week, 2 more home matches. Wednesday, the Brockton game. And then Friday, Taunton comes to Durfee. So 2 of the next 3 at home. Last home game of the season is the 16th of May, and that's against Barnstable, who they swept yesterday on the road. That was another. Another big win.
It was a great one.
Yeah. Now for New Bedford, today is the 27th, and New Bedford here, they will head to Brockton on Monday before returning home for a 2-match homestand, Taunton and Quincy. So almost the same schedule, basically, as Durfee. Same teams. And part of that is also because, as you know, unlike with girls, there are far less boys volleyball teams down here on the South Coast.
Right. We have to travel quite a bit for the boys' season and, you know, pick up some more teams that we typically don't play in the girls' season.
And that's why, like, teams like Quincy have become such rivals because play them every year, and it's kind of by necessity, not so much just by choice either.
Yeah.
So now a 5-point Durfee lead sparked the timeout. 21-16 here. Hilltoppers 4 points away of a clean sweep in the match and on the day. Again, JV 1 in 3 earlier, coming back. And here, varsity trying to make it a clean sweep of the Whalers here at the field house. So, and to answer your question at home, if you're wondering, yes, that Brockton match next Wednesday, we will be here for that one. So we'll have that one covered as well. And as I said, too, hopefully by that point, you know, the baseball team will kind of be returning back home now to play out the rest of the season. Hopefully it kind of dries out. We're looking at it's supposed to get pretty warm, but next Tuesday, Wednesday. Yeah, so that's actually really big because hopefully it'll help dry things out a little bit too.
Right.
At Skip Lewis Field. So here's hoping.
As a phys ed teacher, that's always nice to see, the nice weather, because we've been stuck in here,
I know,
you know, all winter. And to get outside, a couple of the classes went outside this week, and to get the kids outside will be fantastic. We need some good fresh air and some vitamin D.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. Souza on the serve just trickles over the net. Camara's got to send it over on that third touch. Pagan to Feliciano. There's the Raptors. Kept in, but that's going to be the third touch. Great reaction from Branco to redirect and even get a hand on that ball. That's a couple times we've seen that today. Now a 3-point set, 3-point game. Far side, good swing there from Giovanni Garcia. And DeMello's going to continue to serve. Oh, my bad. Souza's going to serve. Yes, Souza's still serving. DeMello's mixing me up. He keeps traveling back.
Just helping
behind
out his
the line.
teammate there.
Yeah, I know. He's messing me up. Another good serve. Feliciano with the set. Coming to the near side, Pagan, soft. Dug out by Camara, sent back over by Keys. Down! The comeback is on for the Whalers after that timeout. Not sure what Coach Caturli told them, but it's a 1-point game.
That was a great play there. And their serves, I mean, it's not the strongest of serves that we've seen, but Durfee's having a tough time with the serve receive and trying to get, you know, a really good pass to their setter so that we can really attack the ball.
That was tipped, and Durfee's going to get it back. Nilanera gets credit there with the kill. And the Hilltoppers now back in control, and they're going to look to James Rebello to try to get these last 3 points without coughing it back up.
You know, hopefully he can get this here. We're pushing 3 points.
The block, but it's out of play on that block.
Nice.
Off of Joe Camara.
Definitely
and
a tough one there for Joe, and the way he was angled as well. It's really tough when you're blocking to really angle those hands and get yourself angled back towards the inside of the court and keep that ball in play.
So a substitution there. We're bringing in Nelson Roman to serve here for the Whalers. Down by 1. It's 22-21. You got to win by 2 to take a set. So if this is still tied at 24, you got to get to 26.
Right.
Matias is blocked. It's still in play, though. Third touch, Pagan sends it over. Feliciano, Branco, Camara, point. Yes, it is a point for the Hilltoppers. I thought it was, for a minute, I thought it was still going to be a play. I'm screened by the ladder, but it looked good, you know. 23-21,
right?
now a 2 point.
This is saying that play to the whistle. You never know. They sometimes, you know, we'll hit that ball. You see the block, you think it's down, and then all of a sudden someone's getting it back up. So
Pagan.
you got to make sure.
Nice job by Keys on the back row there. Camara gets it inside the antenna to keep it alive. Keys, Branco, Camara again playing the line. Nice job by Souza. DeMello to the far side to Matias. Keys keeps it in. Branco up top. Camara sends it over on the third. We'll do it again. Now DeMello's got to send it over. What a rally we got going. Low set, it trickles over. New Bedford will play it. Matias, far side, over the net. Branco with the set to Camara. Trying to end this rally, and he does.
Nice, there we go. That was a good one. That was both sides, great volleyball. You know, some really good passes, good setting. Finding the court, that's the biggest thing here, finding those holes. Get that ball on the court on the other side.
Match point, Keys will serve. Towards the net it goes. That is in. New Bedford still alive. It is 24-22.
They're keeping this close. They want it too.
Well, this has been a good third set. I mean, again, the second set, Durfee really pulled away at the end, that 10-point win on the second set. But this is the closest one we've had. New Bedford had not gotten over the 20-point mark, and that one sails into the net to end it. DeGracia could not get it over. 25-22 the score in the third set, and the Hilltoppers take the match with the sweep of New Bedford.
Nice
Get out the brooms. 3-0 the score, and the Hilltoppers with a 2-0 league record. They jump over the 500 mark to 6-5 overall. This was a good match, and this is one Durfee needed to take care of. They definitely had more of that, I'd say, veteran presence, right? More experience. And these are those matches that, no, they're not pushovers, but they're matches you need to win and matches you should win.
Right.
And so I liked what I saw from Durfee. Really, for the most part, a very clean match. They played well, communicated well. This was a good afternoon, evening for the Hilltoppers.
Definitely was. Sure, Brendan will be very proud and very excited over this win.
For sure. Now the big question is, did you enjoy yourself?
I did. You know, a little nervous, but like, yeah, this is fun. I have a new respect for you and your jobs here, man. To think of all these things to say and make sure you have your notes prepared and ready to go, and I'm impressed.
Thank you. Yeah, it's a little routine. This is why I show up early and harass you guys with questions. Now you understand.
Right, now I got it.
All right, well, this has been fun. Glad you tuned in on Fred TV. Kelly, glad you could join me. And
thank you so much.
We'll pencil you in for next Wednesday, right?
Yeah, because I'm sure that with this win, Brendan's going to want that to happen.
Darn right. He sure is. All right, final score from the Fieldhouse. The Hilltoppers take it in 3 sets with the sweep over New Bedford, 3-0. The final score for Molly O'Brien running camera. Kelly Bullier next to me. I'm Evan Massoud. So long from Durfee.